Right now, without your knowledge or consent, trillions of living organisms are making decisions inside your body. Not viruses, not parasites, bacteria. And some of them may be deciding how you feel today. Here is a number that will change how you see yourself. You have approximately 37 trillion human cells in your body. You have approximately 38 trillion bacterial cells. The ratio is merely 1 to 1. You are, by raw count, as much bacteria as you are human. For most of medical history, bacteria were the enemy, something to be killed, sterilized, eliminated. Penicillin was a triumph. Antibiotics were miracles. And then researchers started asking a different question. What if some of them were supposed to be there? What if removing them was the mistake? The collection of bacteria, fungi, and microorganisms living inside your digestive system has a name: the gut microbiome. It weighs between 1 and 2 kilograms. It contains somewhere between 500 and 1,000 distinct species. And for decades, scientists assumed its job was simple: help digest food. They were wrong. In 2004, Dr. John Cryan at University College Cork began investigating something unusual. Mice raised in sterile environments with no gut bacteria at all behaved differently from normal mice. They were more anxious, more reactive to stress. Their stress hormone levels were elevated even without a threat present. When Cryan's team reintroduced specific bacteria into the sterile mice, the anxiety reduced. Not through medication, not through therapy, through bacteria. This finding pointed to something that was already known but not yet understood. The gut and the brain are in constant communication. They are connected by a highway of nerve fibers called the vagus nerve. 200 to 600 million neurons run through your gut wall. That is more neurons than exist in your spinal cord. Researchers began calling it the second brain. Here is where it gets strange. Your gut produces approximately 90% of the body's serotonin. Serotonin is the molecule most associated with mood regulation, well-being, and emotional stability. When doctors prescribe antidepressants, they are targeting serotonin. And 90% of it is being made not in your brain, but in your intestines, by cells that are directly influenced by the bacteria living alongside them. So what does that mean? It means the organisms in your gut are participating in your emotional life, not metaphorically, biochemically. A 2019 study published in Nature Microbiology, led by researcher Jeroen Raes, analyzed the gut microbiomes of over 1,000 people. They found 2 bacterial genera, Coppercoccus and Dialister, were consistently depleted in people diagnosed with depression. Consistently, across populations, across countries. The bacteria were missing, and the mood disorder was present. Think about what that means. Depression is one of the most common medical conditions on Earth. Roughly 280 million people are currently living with it. And 2 of the bacterial species associated with protecting against it can be wiped out by a single course of antibiotics, a medication billions of people have taken without a second thought. But the relationship runs even deeper than mood. In 2011, researchers at McMaster University published a study that directly transplanted gut bacteria between mouse strains with different behavioral profiles. Timid mice received bacteria from bold mice. Bold mice received bacteria from timid mice. Both groups shifted toward the behavioral profile of their donor. Personality traits transferred through bacteria. Dr. Ted Dinan, one of the world's leading researchers in this field, coined a term for bacteria that demonstrably affect brain function: psychobiotics. Microorganisms that, when consumed in adequate amounts, produce a measurable mental health benefit. Clinical trials have now shown that specific probiotic strains can reduce cortisol levels, lower anxiety scores, and improve subjective well-being in human subjects. Not as powerfully as medication, but measurably. How does the gut send messages to the brain? 3 main channels. First, the vagus nerve, direct electrical signaling from gut to brainstem. Second, the immune system. Gut bacteria regulate inflammation levels that directly affect brain function. Third, the bloodstream. Bacterial metabolites, the chemical byproducts of digestion, cross into the blood and reach the brain directly. Your bacteria are not just passengers, they are broadcasters, sending signals upward constantly. What disrupts the microbiome? Antibiotics are the most powerful disruptor, wiping out entire bacterial populations indiscriminately. But the list goes further. Processed food reduces microbial diversity. Chronic stress alters the composition of gut bacteria within days. Poor sleep degrades the microbiome, and a depleted microbiome creates more stress, worse sleep, and lower mood, which depletes it further. It is a loop, and millions of people are stuck inside it. What restores it? Dietary fiber feeds the beneficial bacteria. Fermented foods, yogurt, kimchi, kefir, introduce live bacterial cultures directly. A 2021 Stanford study led by Dr. Erika Sonnenberg found that a high fermented food diet increased microbiome diversity and reduced inflammatory markers in just 10 weeks. 10 weeks. The microbiome is not fixed. It responds. It adapts. You can change it. Here is the reframe. When you wake up in the morning feeling low, heavy, unmotivated, dim, you assume that feeling belongs to you. You built it. You caused it. You are it. But what if part of that feeling is being generated by organisms you have never thought about? What if your mood is not entirely yours? You are not a single organism living alone inside a body. You are an ecosystem. Trillions of species negotiating your chemistry every second. And somewhere in that negotiation, in that ancient wordless conversation between microbe and nerve, something that feels like your personality is being shaped. Right now, without your input, without your awareness, without your consent.